Well, Robin Curnow has been following developments from inside the Pretoria courthouse and now joins us. So we're looking at a lengthy trial, it would seem, Robin.
Well, it appears so. We do know that the trial will now start on March the 3rd. The first part of it will essentially last 3 weeks. We then likely going to see postponements, a number of postponements, legal analysts tell me, over potentially a few years. Now, the reason they say is because have a look at this indictment. I've just seen it now after the court was adjourned, and the state has listed 107 witnesses. Now, they might not call them all, but essentially that indicates that this is going to take time just from the state trying to prove this murder charge. And of course, you know, we haven't even seen the list of witnesses yet that Oscar Pistorius' team will bring. So we are looking at other cases like this, legal analysts tell me, have taken 3 to 4 years to wrap up. So this is by no means over. In fact, this is just the first step towards this legal process between Oscar Pistorius and, of course, the state, who today formally indicted him on murder charges and contravening the Firearms Act. So, indeed, serious allegations against the Olympic sprinter, and he didn't get to plead in court today. We thought that he might get to plead guilty or not guilty. That wasn't the case, and he was merely asked by the magistrate if he understood what was going on. He said yes, he did. And then he was literally physically handed a copy of this indictment, which he said he hadn't read before.
Robin, just a basic question. Will this be a trial by jury, or will there be a panel of judges? How will it be handled? Because it's going to be complicated, isn't it, to establish whether or not this was a premeditated murder or, as Pistorius himself claims, a tragic accident in which he shot his girlfriend in the sincere belief that she was an intruder.
Absolutely. Now, here in the South African legal system, there's no jury system. This will just be tried by essentially one judge in the High Court. And that is basically the way things happen here. Many people say, in a way, that gives more of a fair trial, particularly with such a high-profile case like this, where there have been all sorts of allegations and rumors in the media over the past 6 months. Many people believe that a jury might be influenced by that, whereas a judge will strictly apply the law. What we didn't get today, which we thought we might get, a little bit more detail on the sort of the strength, on the details of the state's case against him. We want to know, I think, from whether the ballistics had proved that Oscar Pistorius didn't or did not have his prosthetic legs on at the time. He said he didn't. It's those kinds of details that'll indicate just how strong the state's case is, because you'll remember in that quite dramatic bail hearing that lasted a week, which was like a trial within a trial, the state made a lot of allegations that our legal analysts tell us really had no evidence behind them. They seem to be trying to fit a picture that really hadn't been proved, essentially, in terms of forensics yet. Whether or not those forensics have now been completed and fit the case or the picture that the state was trying to paint of Oscar Pistorius as being trigger-happy and violent, and that there perhaps been some sort of assault or fight beforehand in the early hours of Valentine's Day, you know, that we're not sure if those details have essentially been substantiated by the investigation in the past 6 months. Also remember that Pistorius' team is going to very heavily defend the case that he's a double amputee. He feels perhaps more vulnerable than many people. That is why he would sleep next to a gun sleep with a gun next to his bed. That's why he would feel even more vulnerable, more perhaps paranoid about an intruder, because he wouldn't have been able to fight them off because he was sleeping essentially without his prosthetic legs on. So what we're going to see here, I think, in the next few years is this tussle between the character of Oscar Pistorius as well as sort of the base facts that the state is going to put forward.
OK, Robin Curnow joining us there live from outside that courthouse in South Africa, where Oscar Pistorius, the Olympic sprinter, has been handed the indictment. He will be charged with murder and contravention of Firearms Acts. Robin, many thanks indeed.